All right, boys, wallets out. It's time to talk about financial domination. Yeah, you heard me. The kink that triggers vanilla people more than anything else.
You tripping, bro. You tripping.
The fetish that makes some people scream. But isn't that just women stealing from desperate men? But before we dive into it, you know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe. YouTube already hates this video, so let's make sure it gets seen. And if you're here because you secretly want to drain your bank account for a goddess, keep watching. Now the disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes. I am not telling you to send your paycheck to some random person online without a second thought. If you do that, you're kind of an idiot, not a submissive. That being said, let's get into it. What is financial domination, or Findom? So let's clear something up. Financial domination is not just some scam where women rob desperate men. That's the stereotype. The reality, it's a power dynamic. At its core, Findom is about control. The submissive willingly relinquishes financial power to a dominant, whether that's through direct cash tributes, spending control, or total financial ownership. For some, it's a deep psychological kink. The thrill of being helpless, of knowing their hard-earned money belongs to someone else. And trust me, it's not just weak, desperate men into this. Findom relationships happen between people of all genders and dynamics. There are some submissive women who love being financially controlled, couples who integrate Findom into their daily power exchange, and even 24/7 relationships where one partner financially supports the other as an act of dominance. Now, does this mean you should blindly send your paycheck to a dom online? No. Do your research, negotiate, and don't be reckless. But if you're thinking this is just some money-stealing scam, you have no idea what you're talking about. You might be wondering, why the hell would someone get turned on by giving their money away? Simple. It's about control, submission, and vulnerability. Imagine this. You work your ass off, grinding every day, making money, and then you hand it over just like that, no questions, no hesitation. It's not yours anymore. It belongs to your dominant. For some, that's an intoxicating rush, the ultimate act of submission. For others, it's the thrill of knowing their finances are being micromanaged and controlled, from their bills to their spending money to their savings. And let's not forget, for a lot of dominants, being a Findom is more about just cash. It's about power, responsibility, and ownership. If I'm controlling your money, I'm controlling you. And that's the appeal. Here's where people get it wrong. Findom isn't just some anonymous online kink where you tribute cash and jerk off to the thought of being broke. Real financial domination exists in long-term BDSM relationships. And guess what? It's everywhere. For example, live-in submissives who turn over their entire paycheck to their dominant, receiving a controlled allowance. Housewife and 1950s style relationships where the dominant partner manages all the finances. Power exchange dynamics where a submissive must ask permission before making a purchase, even as something as small as a coffee. And before you say, that sounds unhealthy, let me remind you, this is all negotiated and consensual. If done right, Findom can actually help submissives learn financial discipline while reinforcing their submission. But here's where people get it wrong. Findom has rules, and if you don't follow them, you're just setting yourself up for disaster. Biggest mistakes I see are no boundaries. Submissives draining their bank accounts with no plan. Fake doms. Newsflash, just because a girl calls herself a goddess on Twitter doesn't mean she's a real dominant. And submissives who can't actually afford this kink. If you're giving money you don't have, you're not a submissive, you're just reckless. If you want to engage in Findom the right way, it needs structure. Limits, a plan, whether that's a weekly tribute system, controlled spending, or financial ownership agreements. It should be intentional, not reckless. All right, so let's say you're curious about Findom. How do you start without ruining your life? For submissives, Know your budget. Only give what you can afford. If you're in debt, Findom isn't for you. Vet your dom. Make sure they actually know what they're doing. Start small. A simple tribute system or controlled spending is a good entry point. For dominance, be responsible. If you're controlling someone's money, don't just take. Help them. Build structure. Set limits. A good Findom knows how to balance control and financial responsibility. Make it more than just cash. True financial domination is about psychological control, not just draining wallets. At the end of the day, Findom is a real power exchange dynamic, not just an easy way to make money. If you treat it like a serious kink instead of a quick cash grab, it can be deeply fulfilling. So tell me, do you still think Findom is just a scam? Or do you see the appeal? Drop a comment below and tell me where you stand. And if you're secretly dreaming about sending me your paycheck, you know what to do. Hit subscribe and drop a tribute. Until next time, stay filthy, stay obedient, and always play smart.